chosen one. Remember that moment when you spoke your future out loud and someone smirked, assuming you were bluffing. They thought you were messing around when you said what you said, and now they're in utter shock watching you actually do it. But you weren't imagining a better life, you were announcing it. And now the announcement is becoming reality. You were activating something bigger, and now the proof is undeniable. Let's identify exactly who witnessed your struggle. Someone close, not a random stranger. Someone who had access to your life, your space, your energy. Perhaps you grew up together. Perhaps you shared living space. Perhaps you called this person friend for years. But here's the reality. A competitor. Someone who measured worth by staying ahead of you. Someone who needed you beneath to feel above. This person watched you go through genuine hardship, real pain, life challenges that tested everything in you, and offered nothing, no compassion, no support, no checking in, watching you suffer like background noise. And in this mind, every struggle you had was proof of being better, proof of being stronger, proof that you would always be the one failing while success belonged elsewhere. But you carried something that created intense reaction, natural talent, the kind you can't fake or purchase. When you create, when you express yourself, when you touch something, beauty emerges. You pick up skills quickly, understand concepts intuitively, and while force and grinding produced mediocre results elsewhere, you flowed into excellence. This gift was recognized, and it generated sickness from envy. So the predictable happened. Attempts to make you doubt yourself, labels assigned, weak, pathetic, messages delivered that you'd never change, that if success wasn't happening there, it definitely couldn't happen for you. Every insecurity got projected onto you with hope it would stick, hope it would keep you small, hope it would ensure you stayed exactly where you were needed to stay. Here's what wasn't anticipated: you getting tired, not defeated, tired, done tired, the kind of tired that transforms into power. You reached a point where something inside said enough. No more emotional punching bag, no more accepting projections, no more playing small for anyone's comfort. And you set a boundary, cut off access, removed the presence from your energy completely. That boundary changed everything. The moment you unplugged that presence from your life, you stopped the drain. Energy was being fed upon. Your creative essence was being siphoned. Ideas were being stolen. Your moves were being watched. Notes were being taken on everything you did. And with that presence gone, what was meant for you could finally reach you. Opportunities started forming. Your gifts started getting noticed. Doors started opening. And you started becoming exactly what you declared you would become. Something was happening that couldn't be perceived by physical eyes. When you spoke those words that got laughed at, you weren't just talking. You were speaking past the physical. Your words traveled into spiritual realm and began rearranging circumstances. You saw something others couldn't see. A future version of yourself so clear it was like looking at a photograph. You felt it in your body, tasted it, experienced it before it happened in physical form. That's not delusion, that's vision, that's intuition, that's your higher self showing you what's coming, so you can walk toward it with confidence. And when you spoke it out loud, when you declared it in that presence, you weren't asking for belief, you were claiming it, staking your flag in it, announcing to the universe that you were ready. But your certainty got interpreted as fantasy, your confidence got labeled as compensation, your declaration got dismissed as denial, because that level of inner knowing had never been experienced there, never felt so sure about something that hasn't happened yet, never trusted itself enough to speak future into existence. So when encountering someone who could, someone who did, dismissal became necessary, had to label it as foolishness, had to mock it, because if what you were saying was real, if that level of manifestation was possible, what did that reveal? Why wasn't it being accessed? Why wasn't it being created? Why was stagnation the reality, while you were declaring freedom? Let's talk about your gift, the thing that's been generating intense reaction this entire time, the thing that's been attempted to be diminished and denied. You have the ability to create in ways that move people. Your expression carries something authentic, something real, something that can't be manufactured or copied. When you speak your truth, people feel it. When you create your art, people recognize it. When you share your vision, people are drawn to it. This isn't about being better than anyone. This is about being genuinely you. You don't filter yourself through comparison. Don't try to fit into molds. Don't create based on what's trending. You express what's true for you, and that authenticity is what resonates. That's what people are hungry for in a world full of manufactured content. That's what's being recognized. That's what's being celebrated. Watch what happened when attempts were made to replicate what you do. Your process got studied. Your content got analyzed. Your methods got broken down. Your approach got copied. And then a version got presented, expecting the same response you received, but it fell flat. People could feel the difference, could sense something was missing, could tell it was manufactured, because what you have can't be reverse engineered. Your gift doesn't come from technique, it comes from essence. Frustration probably followed, wondering why the version didn't land the same way, convincing self that people just didn't understand it yet, that better marketing was needed, better timing, better luck. But it wasn't about any of that. It was about authenticity. When you create, you're expressing your soul. When copying happens, someone's performing a formula, and people can always tell the difference between someone sharing truth and someone trying to manufacture success. Ideas were probably had, big ideas, wonderful plans, but execution never happened, risks never taken, self never put out there. Talk about what's going to happen, but never doing it. And then when you actually do it, when you bring something into reality, accusations of copying emerge. But you can't copy something that only exists in someone's mind. You can't steal an idea that never became tangible. You can't take credit for something that remained perpetually in planning phase. If this message aligned with your purpose, hype this video so fellow chosen ones can find their confirmation. Right now there's official communication forming with your name on it. An invitation could arrive as correspondence, could come through a call, but it's going to be formal, professional, the kind that requires response, the kind that says you are wanted, you are valued, you are chosen for this opportunity, and when you receive it, you're going to feel it in your entire body. This is real. Everything declared is here. This could be an award ceremony, an industry event, recognition for your creative work, a celebration where people gather specifically to acknowledge excellence, and you're not being invited as a guest. You're being celebrated. Your work is being honored. Your contribution is being valued. This is the kind of validation that confirms years of effort, years of faith, years of creating when you had no audience, and it's coming because you're genuine. But consider what this means for the person who doubted you, who mocked your dreams, who tried to sabotage this exact opportunity. This recognition was wanted. This kind of acknowledgement has been chased for years. Attempts to force it, attempts to manipulate it, attempts to fake a way into it, but it hasn't come, because you can't fake your way into divine favor. You can't manipulate your way into spiritual reward. Information about your invitation will surface, a photograph will be seen, a social media post will appear, an announcement will be made, your face attached to an achievement that existed only in dreams elsewhere, and the first reaction will be confusion. This can't be real. This must be a mistake. Looking twice, reading again, checking the source, because in that mind you're still that person from before, that person who got judged, that person who got written off. Something else was happening in the background while all this was unfolding, an energy shift so powerful that even those watching could feel it. You probably noticed changes in your own life, synchronicities increasing, random opportunities appearing, people from your past reaching out, doors opening that you didn't even knock on. That wasn't coincidence. That was the universe preparing the path, clearing obstacles, arranging circumstances, getting everything ready for your moment. And the presence felt it too, not consciously perhaps, but somewhere in spirit, a sense emerged that something was wrong. The plan should have worked. The sabotage should have stopped you. But instead, you seemed to be thriving, glowing, moving differently, speaking with more authority. creating with more confidence, and it generated unease, made self-doubt appear, made questioning happen about whether miscalculation occurred. That's when attempts probably happened to reach back out. A casual message sent, an old post liked, some indirect contact made, testing the waters, seeing if the boundary you set was really permanent. But you didn't respond. Or if you did, it was brief, polite but distant, because you already knew what was happening. You could feel attempts to plug back into your field, trying to get back into position to monitor you, to steal from you, to interfere with you, and you refused. That refusal was powerful, more powerful than you probably realized in the moment, because every time you honor your boundaries, every time you protect your energy, every time you refuse to let toxic presence back in, you send a message to the universe. You're saying, I value myself, I protect what's sacred, I'm serious about my path. And the universe responds by protecting you even more, by blessing you even more, by opening doors even wider. Meanwhile, spiraling was occurring elsewhere, watching you from a distance and seeing changes that couldn't be explained, seeing you rise despite attempts to hold you down, seeing you succeed after sabotage was tried, and it was creating madness, because in that mind everything right was done, moves were made, seeds of doubt were planted, interference happened with your opportunity. It should have worked, but it didn't, and understanding couldn't happen about why. Realization couldn't occur that you can't stop someone who's divinely protected. You can't block someone who's walking in purpose. You can't sabotage someone who's aligned with Source. The universe doesn't allow interference with chosen ones who are on their path. Divine timing can't be manipulated by human schemes. Spiritual law overrides physical attempts, and you were being protected in ways you couldn't even see, guided in ways you didn't consciously recognize, supported by forces that work beyond physical comprehension. But then it's going to sink in. This is real. This is you. And that's when the physical reaction happens. The jaw clench, the teeth grinding, the body responding to spiritual shock. Memory will return to that conversation, that moment when you said, watch me, when you declared what was coming, and laughter followed. Dismissal happened. Delusion was the label given. And now you're proving everything in a way that can't be denied. Passive hoping for your failure wasn't the only thing happening. Active attempts were made to ensure failure. Something was done behind your back. Something thought to be strategic. Something designed to block the very opportunity now approaching. Words were spoken to someone. Seeds of doubt were planted. Attempts to interfere with your blessing were made. And the belief was that success had been achieved. But here's what happens when operating from low vibration. Actions expose themselves. What gets done in darkness comes to light. And what was attempted, it didn't hurt you. It exposed the source. There was a moment when true character got revealed. Something was said. Something was done. The real face got shown to people who matter. Decision makers saw it. Gatekeepers noticed it. And in that moment, self-disqualification happened. This occurred in recent time. A move got made thinking it would stop you, but it stopped the source instead. Self-sabotage occurred while the belief was that you were being sabotaged, and full realization hasn't happened yet. The belief exists that the plan worked, that successful blocking occurred. But what actually happened was self-removal from consideration. And when you're seen receiving what was attempted to be prevented, that's when truth will impact. The universe doesn't play games. Divine justice is real. What gets sent out comes back multiplied. Sabotage got sent out. Negativity got sent out. Envy got sent out. Interference got sent out. And that energy is circling back right now. Not because you wished it, but because that's how spiritual law functions. Meanwhile, you sent out faith, effort, creativity, persistence, and that's what's coming back to you. Recognition, celebration, abundance, elevation. While focus was placed on stopping you, your focus remained on growing. While scheming occurred, you were creating. While energy got spent on bringing you down, your energy got spent on building yourself up. And that's why you're winning. Not because of luck, not because of some special exception, but because you stayed in your lane, stayed focused on your purpose, stayed true to your path, and the universe honors that. The invitation arrives. You read it, you feel it. This is the moment everything you declared is manifesting. This is prophecy coming true. This is validation from the universe that you were right to trust yourself, right to believe in your gifts, right to declare your future despite doubts thrown at you. And you accept it, not with hesitation, not with guilt, but with confidence, because you earned this. You prepare for this event, this celebration, this recognition, and as you do, you think about that conversation, that moment when you said, "Watch me rise." The response was dismissal. The belief was that you were being dramatic, that you were coping, that you were creating delusions to deal with failure. But you were speaking truth. You were declaring what was already written, and now it's manifesting in physical form. The event happens. You walk into a space you couldn't access before. You're surrounded by people who matter, people who recognize excellence, people who value authenticity, and you're being celebrated. Your work is being acknowledged. Your contribution is being honored. This is the moment that validates everything, every struggle, every doubt, every time you almost gave up but kept going. It all led here, and somewhere, discovery happens. A photograph gets seen, a post gets read, information comes through social channels, and your face appears, your name appears, your presence appears, associated with something that existed only in dreams elsewhere. The utter shock hits like a physical blow, because this isn't supposed to be happening. In that mind, successful blocking occurred. Sabotage worked. This wasn't supposed to reach you, but it did, and now staring at undeniable proof that failure happened. But your celebration isn't where this ends. Something else unfolds. Information starts circulating. The truth about what was attempted, the sabotage that was tried, the things that were said behind your back, the ways blocking was attempted. It comes out, not through you. You don't have to say anything. The universe exposes it. Other people talk. Social channels reveal it. And suddenly, everyone knows what was attempted. You might hear it through someone unexpected, a mutual acquaintance, a family connection, someone peripheral. The information travels in that mysterious way. Information travels, and when you hear it, when you learn exactly what was attempted, everything clicks into place. Every weird comment makes sense. Every passive-aggressive moment has context. Every time undermining happened while care was being pretended connects to a bigger picture. Active work was happening against you. The community starts communicating, not in gossip, in protection mode. People warning each other, sharing information, making sure others know what to watch for, and your name comes up. Not because you're spreading information, but because people are realizing that what happened to you happened to others, that the sabotage attempted on you was part of a pattern, that the jealousy wasn't unique to you, it was an operating system, a default mode, consistent behavior. Someone might say something like, "Wait, that happened to you too? I thought I was alone in that experience." And then another person shares their experience, and another, and suddenly, there's collective realization. This person has been moving through spaces, taking credit for other people's work, stealing ideas, sabotaging opportunities, operating from envy disguised as friendship, and everyone who gave benefit of the doubt starts to see clearly. What's fascinating is how quickly reputation shifts once truth emerges. People who celebrated last season are distancing themselves this season. Opportunities thought to be secured are evaporating. Invitations expected aren't coming, because communities communicate, and when someone reveals themselves to be untrustworthy, word spreads fast. Not through you. You're busy thriving, but through natural social dynamics, through people protecting themselves and each other. And where are you in all this? Rising, thriving, stepping into new opportunities, because that celebration wasn't the end, it was the beginning. That recognition opened doors, that invitation led to more invitations, that moment of validation created momentum that's now unstoppable. You're not just moving forward, you're ascending, and it's happening with ease, with flow, with divine timing. You're not gloating, not rubbing anything in anyone's face, not even thinking about the past much, because you're too busy creating, too busy building, too busy stepping into everything that's meant for you. You don't have energy to waste on people who tried to hold you back. You're too focused on where you're going, and that focus is what keeps you rising, what keeps opportunities flowing, what keeps blessings multiplying. Now let me put you onto something real, Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose, and the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app. It's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play, and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 to die and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. People are noticing you now. The right people, people who value authenticity, people who recognize talent, people who want to work with someone real, and you're building connections that matter. Relationships based on mutual respect, opportunities based on genuine value, recognition based on authentic contribution. This is what happens when you stay true to yourself, when you honor your gifts, when you trust your path. You're also learning something powerful, that your voice matters, that your declaration had weight, that when you speak your truth, the universe listens. That moment when you said "watch me" wasn't arrogance, it was prophecy. It was claiming your destiny. It was refusing to let someone else's doubt become your reality. And now you know the power of your word, the importance of declaring what you want, the certainty that comes from inner knowing. This isn't just about external success, it's about internal transformation. You're not the same person who had that conversation. You're not the person someone tried to keep small. You've grown, evolved, became someone who can handle this level, someone who deserves this recognition, someone who's ready for everything coming next. And that growth is permanent. That strength is unshakable. That knowing is eternal. You're also operating with a different kind of confidence now. Not the fake confidence that needs constant validation, not the fragile confidence that breaks under pressure, but the deep confidence that comes from knowing who you are, what you carry, what you're capable of, the confidence that doesn't need to announce itself because it's obvious in how you move, how you speak, how you create, how you exist in the world. People feel this shift when interacting with you, sense it when engaging with you, recognize it when seeing your work, and it has two effects. It intimidates people operating from ego, while attracting people operating from soul. The right people are drawn to you now, the wrong people are repelled, and that's perfect. That's exactly what needs to happen. You're not for everyone, you're for your people, for your tribe, for those who operate at your frequency. This new confidence is changing how opportunities come to you. You're not chasing anymore, not begging for chances, not performing for approval. You're simply being yourself, expressing authentically, creating from truth, and the right opportunities are finding you, coming to you, seeking you out, because what you have is rare, what you offer is valuable, what you bring is needed. You've also stopped explaining yourself, stopped justifying your choices, stopped defending your path. You understand now that people who get it will get it, people who don't won't, and neither response is your responsibility. You're not here to convince anyone, not here to prove anything to anyone. You're here to live your truth, express your gifts, walk your path, and anyone who can't honor that doesn't deserve access to you. This energy shift is affecting every area of your life. Your relationships are healthier, Your creative work is stronger. Your financial situation is improving. Your mental health is better. Your physical health is responding. Everything is aligning because you're aligned. Everything is flowing because you're in flow. Everything is working because you're working with the universe instead of against it. You've learned to trust the process completely. Trust that what's meant for you will reach you. Trust that what's not meant for you will pass you by. Trust that delays are protection. Trust that rejections are redirection. Trust that everything is working together for your highest good. And that trust is magnetic. It attracts more reasons to trust, more evidence that you're supported, more confirmation that you're on the right path. Let's talk about what this experience actually taught you. Not the surface lesson about removing toxic people, the deeper lesson, the soul lesson. You learned that your intuition is never wrong. Every time you felt something off, every moment you sensed something strange, every instance where words didn't match energy, you were picking up on truth. Your body knew before your mind caught up. Your spirit recognized the threat before your logic could explain it. You also learned the power of boundaries, real boundaries, not the kind you set and then renegotiate, not the kind you establish and then make exceptions for, but firm, unshakable, non-negotiable boundaries. And you learned that setting those boundaries doesn't make you mean, doesn't make you unforgiving, doesn't make you cold. It makes you wise. It makes you protected. It makes you someone who values self enough to refuse mistreatment. You discovered something about your creative process too, that it can't be rushed, can't be forced, can't be manipulated into existence. Your best work comes when you're aligned, when you're at peace, when you're creating from joy instead of pressure, and removing toxic presence from your space gave you that peace, that alignment, that joy. Your creativity flourished after the removal, not because you were trying harder, but because you had space to breathe. You stopped caring about being liked. Stopped performing for approval. Stopped dimming yourself to make others comfortable. You realized that people who are threatened by your light are revealing their own darkness. People who can't celebrate your wins are exposing their own losses. People who need you to stay small are confessing their own limitations, and none of that is your problem. You became someone who understands that success isn't selfish, that shining bright doesn't take light from others, that rising to your potential doesn't push others down. You learned that there's enough space for everyone to win, enough opportunity for everyone to succeed, enough recognition for everyone who does authentic work. The only people who operate from scarcity are people who haven't done the work to develop themselves. The experience also taught you about divine timing, how everything happens exactly when it's supposed to, not when you want it to, not when it would be convenient, but when you're ready, when the preparation is complete, when the lesson is learned, when the character is built. You understand now that delays aren't denials, that closed doors aren't rejections, that waiting periods aren't punishments. This story isn't just happening to you, it's happening through you. Other people are watching, witnessing, learning, seeing what you went through, watching how you handled it, observing how the universe responded, and it's changing them, inspiring them, showing them what's possible when you stay true to yourself despite opposition. There are people in your life right now who've been dealing with similar situations, similar saboteur, similar envious presence, similar toxic relationship that felt wrong but couldn't be ended. And observation is happening, seeing how you set your boundary and thrived afterward, witnessing how you walked away and elevated, observing how you refused to dim your light and got rewarded for it. And it's giving permission, courage, proof that it can be done. Your story is becoming a mirror, showing people what needs to be seen. Some people look at you and see hope, see possibility, see evidence that transformation is real and available. Other people look at you and see judgment, see condemnation, see a reflection of personal choices to stay small. Your success is neutral. You're just living your life. But reactions to your success reveal everything about where people are, what believed, who's being chosen to be. The person who sabotaged you, a warning, a cautionary tale. Other people are watching what happened and learning learning that jealousy destroys the jealous person, that sabotage backfires, that operating from envy leads to isolation, that trying to dim someone else's light only darkens your own world. Learning these lessons through observation, through witnessing consequences, through seeing cause and effect play out in real time. This is what it means to be chosen. It's not about being better than others. It's about being willing to go first, to take the risk, to trust when others doubt, to speak when others stay silent, to rise when others stay small. And in doing so, you create a pathway. You show that it's possible. You prove that faith works. You demonstrate that authenticity wins, and others follow, not copying you, but finding their own version of what you discovered. Being chosen comes with responsibility, not burden, not weight, but sacred responsibility. You're carrying something now that others need to see. Evidence that transformation is real, proof that dreams manifest, confirmation that declarations have power, and how you handle this success matters. How you carry this recognition affects others. How you walk this path influences people you'll never even meet. You have a choice in how you show up now. You can be humble but not small, confident but not arrogant, successful but not disconnected, elevated but not distant. And that balance is what makes you powerful. That's what makes you a leader. That's what makes you someone worth following, not because you demand it, but because you inspire it naturally through how you live. Your success is giving others permission to dream again, to hope again, to try again. People who had given up are reconsidering. People who had settled are questioning. People who had accepted limitation are wondering if maybe, just maybe, more is possible. And it is. It always was. They just needed to see someone like them do it first. Someone who struggled. Someone who doubted. Someone who got knocked down but got back up. That's you. That's your story. That's your power. The person who tried to stop you inadvertently became part of your testimony. Their sabotage became your setup. Their interference became your introduction to divine protection. Their attempt to block you became evidence of what happens when you try to stop a chosen one. They didn't know it at the time, didn't understand that by coming against you they were positioning you for greater, that by trying to limit you they were launching you higher, that by attempting to sabotage your opportunity they were actually removing themselves from the picture so you could rise unhindered. Everything serves your purpose when you're walking in your calling, even the obstacles, even the opposition, even the people who come against you. It all works together. It all contributes. It all adds to your story in ways you can't always see in the moment, but become clear in hindsight. And now you're in that hindsight phase, looking back and seeing how every piece fit, how every challenge prepared you, how every setback positioned you, how every closed door protected you from something that wasn't meant for you, so you could walk through the door that was. So where do you go from here? Forward, upward, into everything that's been prepared for you. Because this celebration was just confirmation, just validation, just the universe saying you're on the right path. What comes next is bigger, better, more aligned than you can currently imagine. You're entering a new level where success compounds, where one opportunity creates 10, where your gifts attract exactly what's meant for you. The person who doubted you, learning the most important lesson of a lifetime, that underestimating a chosen one is dangerous, that mocking someone's dreams costs everything, that trying to sabotage someone's destiny backfires, learning that you can't dim someone else's light without darkening your own world, that you can't steal someone's energy without depleting your own, that you can't operate from envy without destroying yourself. And you're learning your power, learning that your word creates reality, that your declarations manifest, that your faith moves mountains, that your authenticity attracts blessings, that your willingness to stand alone positions you to rise above. You're learning that you don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself. And when you do, when you trust that inner knowing, the universe backs you up. Here's the final truth. Someone thought you were lying, but you were prophesying. Someone thought you were fantasizing, but you were manifesting. Someone thought you were coping, but you were creating. And now the prophecy is fulfilled. The manifestation is complete. The creation is real, and all anyone can do is watch in utter shock as you become exactly who you said you'd become. Do exactly what you said you'd do. Achieve exactly what you said you'd achieve. This is your moment, chosen one. Not just the celebration, not just the recognition, but the complete transformation, the total vindication, the undeniable proof that you were right about yourself, that your gifts are real, that your path is valid, that your destiny is unfolding exactly as it should. You did it, not because someone believed in you, but because you believed in yourself. And that's the only belief that ever mattered. Welcome to your elevation. This is only the beginning. More celebrations coming, more recognition arriving, more doors opening, more opportunities forming, because you're on a path now that's undeniable. You're in a flow that's unstoppable. You're operating at a frequency that attracts everything meant for you, and nothing can slow you down. Nothing can hold you back. Nothing can stop what's already in motion. Someone thought you were full of nonsense, but you were full of faith. Someone thought you were dreaming, but you were seeing. Someone thought you were talking, but you were declaring. And now the declaration is manifest. The vision is real. The dream is awake, and you're standing in it, living it, being it, exactly as you said you would, exactly as you knew you would, exactly as the universe promised you would. This is your story, your victory, your testimony, and it's just the beginning. The person who laughed at your declaration is learning what you already knew, that words spoken with certainty carry creative power, that declarations made with conviction shape reality, that prophecies spoken from inner knowing always manifest. You weren't guessing when you said what you said. You weren't hoping. You weren't wishing. You were knowing, and knowing is different from all of those. Knowing comes from a place beyond logic, beyond reason, beyond what can be seen with physical eyes. And now you're standing in the manifestation of what you knew, living the reality you declared, being the person you said you would become, not because you got lucky, not because circumstances aligned by chance, but because you believed yourself when no one else did, because you trusted yourself when everyone else doubted, because you honored your vision when others called it delusion. That's power. That's faith. That's what makes you unstoppable, moving forward into everything else that's waiting for you.